AITA for reporting my friend to his work and getting him fired because he refused to give my books back? I, 27F, recently had some friends over at my house for my birthday. I have a book collection with some signed books by relatively famous authors. They're not behind a locked shelf or anything, but they're in my room. After they left I noticed that few of my books were gone, and someone mentioned that J, 28 meters, claimed I let him borrow the books. I called Jay and yelled at him about lying and stealing my books. He tried to explain that he was taking them to his work bookstore to get them officially appraised, and it was supposed to be a surprise gift. I chewed him off and asked him how that's considered a gift and I wanted the books back. He refused. I told him I will be calling the cops his work if he doesn't, and he still refused to bring them back. I immediately called the cops to file a police report and waited until the morning to call his work. I gave them all the details, including the case number, and said I'll be coming with an officer to get my books back from Jay that day. His work cooperated with me and promptly fired Jay after I got my books back. Jay claims that I went too far over a few books and demands that I give him money until he finds another job. AITA? AITA for telling my sister why I'm acting cold during family dinner that was thrown in my honor after she made it about herself. I, 25F, am the middle child in our family of 3 siblings, Allison 28F, Jake, 22M. Sadly I am the stereotypical unseen middle child while Allison is the golden daughter. She literally cannot do anything wrong based on my parents' opinion. I opened up a new bakery in our town. My mom invites the whole family for dinner once in a while and this time she said the dinner was in my honor, to celebrate my new job. Which was sweet and I was pleasantly surprised. Allison lives in a different city. When she came home for dinner, she was not alone. She had her girlfriend, Elizabeth, 30F, with her. Now Allison is a playgirl who uses her law degree to get laid, even on my friends back in the day, but she never brought her girlfriends home. She did this time and everyone's attention was on her. Through the whole dinner, there was only one mention of my bakery, ironically it was from Elizabeth. The rest was spent on getting to know Elizabeth and her job, interests, how she met Allison, etc. It also didn't help that she was a psychiatrist and everyone had questions. I was beyond pissed. She could have brought her home any other time but chose this one time that our parents decided to acknowledge me. So I was cold throughout the dinner. Not that anyone really cared. At the end of the night, Allison asked me why I was sulking. I told her the truth and I said she managed to make this about herself as well, that she couldn't live if the spotlight wasn't on her. She told me I should be happy for her because she's fallen in love and is extremely happy with her girlfriend and wanted her to be a part of this celebration. She knew exactly what bringing a girlfriend would do to the dinner. So I told her she could have done it literally any other night. Right now, we're still pretty distant. AITA here? Am I overreacting? AITA for accepting the suggestion and not coming back, ruined a family dinner? I'm known in the family to be a control freak about preparing food. In fact, in my family, there are 2 dinners in the year that all members come, in all 30 people, and before I took over, all dinners were extremely late. There was always some problem with seasoning or poor preparation. I'm organized and for every meal, I have a spreadsheet with everything I need to make a huge-scale dinner. At first, they didn't respect it, but after seeing that my method was useful, everyone joined in and allowed me to be the head of the organization. Since then, dinners are ready on time, everyone praises and repeats the dish, not very common. It's 1 to 2 days for preparing meals. I don't ask them to help me, because I know I'm serious with organization, but if the person wants to, I ask them to respect the process. Another fact, my mother was a cook, for 1 year, and my sil is studying gastronomy. The situation. Sunday was the half-yearly dinner and I was the head as usual. Would help me, my sil, mother, aunt and uncle. This would be sil's first family dinner and she offered to help. During the preparation, my mother started to do several things wrong and every time I said something, she said something like stay calm, a wrong thing will not lead to anything. The problem is that she did so much wrong, skipping so many necessary steps in the food that most things I had to redo or give a second look. She continued to help even though I said it wasn't necessary. I broke down when I just commented something about steps with my sil and she corrected me. I was going to comment but my mother said I think you better cool off in the pool and let those with experience sort it out. I accepted, grabbed a glass of wine, the spreadsheet with me and spent the whole day in the pool, ignoring when asked to come back. So. Dinner was late, poorly seasoned, undercooked and no one had a second dish. My mother later said that I ruined dinner and humiliated our family in front of relatives in revenge. I shouldn't take that serious, because it was a silly family joke. BTW, I love making these dinners, and yes, my mother's silly behavior is common. AITA? Someone asked for examples of what she did wrong. She put too much salt on one of the meats and it was inedible. There had to be 10 of something for the food and she cut it in half because it was too much. It wasn't. She started to make rice very early, and we use the pan first for other food and the rice is last because it is the biggest and heaviest pan. My spreadsheet basically has the amounts and how long each cooking ingredient goes. I point out when they get the quantities wrong, too much or too little, or when they start making food that is for a long time before or after. AITA for not using my husband's hilarious gift? H, 29 meters, and I, 26F, had been married for 4 years. I had a great job in sales before COVID, but we found during the pandemic that things just worked better with H at work and me at home. He earns enough to support us both. I never thought I'd end up being a traditional wife, but given that he's the breadwinner, I sometimes feel as though I should pick up a lot of the slack at home. I'm not a great cook, but I'm sociable and enjoy being the hostess. When H has friends over to watch soccer, I prep a huge tray of snacks, keep the beers on ice, and pop in with drink and food top-ups during the game. I don't stay to watch, but I do ask the guys how they're doing etc., just polite chit-chat. They all seemed into it and often comment that H has done well to have such a great wife. It's a nice setup. Last week, H came home with a beautifully gift-wrapped box and said he'd got me a little something to wear when his friends are next over. I do my best to dress nicely when they're round, so I figured it would be a pretty dress or something. He had this huge grin on his face so I was so excited. I opened the box to find a red latex mini dress and a ball gag. The gag was designed to look like a soccer ball and the dress is in his team's color. I didn't know what to say at first, I was so confused. He's never been into anything like that, he's very vanilla. I asked if it was a joke and at first he said no and told me his friends wouldn't believe how lucky he was if I walked in with the snacks like that. I can't remember what I said next, but then he told me it would be hilarious if I wore it and I should lighten up. I gave it a nervous laugh and told him I thought it was funny too. This morning, he'd put both items on my dresser and said he's looking forward to seeing me in them when the guys are around tomorrow. I reminded him that he said it was a joke. He got a bit sulky and said he can't believe I don't have a sense of humor. But from what he's saying, it sounds like he's expecting me to wear it? I'm so confused because 1, I don't know if he's done this as a joke because his friends think I talk too much, or 2, if he'd get off on me being humiliated. He says I'm being uptight and called me out for being an but I honestly don't think I'm unreasonable. AITA? AITA for being uncomfortable with my boyfriend's friend calling me BH? For context, I am a 31F living with my boyfriend Mike who is 34. Mike has a friend Victor who comes over a lot. Yesterday, Victor came over to watch baseball with Mike. Victor asked me to pass him a beer so I passed one over but I dropped it. It didn't crack open or anything, but he said nice one, bitch. I was honestly shocked and said excuse me? He started laughing and Mike joined in. I was very uncomfortable and genuinely didn't know what to say. I told Victor that I didn't appreciate him calling me a bitch. He got super defensive and said he was saying it jokingly. I said it doesn't matter how you were trying to say it, I am uncomfortable. He got very huffy and said I was just being sensitive and then he said and you're probably going to accuse me of being a sexist now aren't you? Can't say anything these days. This was wild because A, I didn't say anything about sexism and B, what do you mean can't say anything? Can't call women bitches unsolicited anymore? What even was his point here? Mike hadn't said anything during this interaction until I called him out. I asked why he wasn't defending me and he said babe you're being a bit dramatic. At this point I'd had enough so I told them to leave and they went to Victor's to watch the game. Up until this point I thought I was in the right until Mike texted me angrily. He said I'd embarrassed him in front of a friend by being so melodramatic and SJWY. He said Victor didn't mean any harm, and it was like how my friends call me bitch lovingly/jokingly. He also said it was uncalled for me to kick him and Victor out of the house when Mike literally lives there. I said it's completely different because my friends make sure I'm okay with it and don't say it in a derogatory manner like Victor did. Plus, my friends are wonderful women who have supported me for years, not some friend of my boyfriend's who I barely know. And I was supposed to just let myself be disrespected in my own home? He called me annoying again and then turned notifications off. He slept over last night. Victor lives alone, and hasn't come home yet. I think I might be the asshole because it's true that my friends call me bitch, and although it's different as I said above, it's possible that it confused Victor and made him think that was okay. I also didn't mean to make Victor uncomfortable / put him in the hot seat as a guest in my house. AITA. Edit, accidentally referred to Victor as Lucas. These are fake names and I changed my mind halfway through making the post lol. Edit 2, oh my god. I was not expecting this to blow up like it did. I am so incredibly grateful for every single one of you who commented and I feel so supported. It's impossible for me to respond to everyone but know that I'm reading your comments and I'm so thankful. I'm working things out right now, but I am safe. Thank you so much for the concern. I'll add a long explanation and update later today when everything gets settled. A lot has happened since I made this post so I want to be able to update properly. Much love to you all. I am so overwhelmed with your kindness, sparkling heart. Update. This will probably be my final update considering the thread is now locked, which is sad. Firstly, thank you also, so much for all the support. It means so much to me. I'm so overwhelmed reading all the comments telling me that I deserve better, that I haven't wasted my time with Mike, that I'm worth more. It truly means the world. Also, thanks for all the lovely PMs I've been receiving. Reading these comments have made me realize that I'm still young and have my life ahead of me, and I am sure I don't want to spend it with a man like Mike especially after what happened today. Today has been wild. To start, Mike didn't come home last night, meaning he has now spent 2 nights over there instead of confronting the issue like a mature adult. He didn't even text me to let me know that he was alive. So I texted him saying that I didn't appreciate at all what happened and that we should talk about it if there is any chance of saving this relationship. He sent me these wild paragraphs that basically said fine, leave me. Good luck finding someone else who will want to fuck you, you'll never find another man because you're just another annoying crazy bitch, Victor was right, you're a CNT, etc. He basically typed an entire essay. It was pretty funny but also disturbing. I couldn't believe a man I thought I loved was saying such nasty and disrespectful things to me. I texted back, lol alright. Have fun calling me whatever the fuck you want with Victor, I won't be around to take it. We're done. His text truly was the last straw for me because he didn't apologize or even try to talk it out, he just immediately jumped to calling me names and saying really horrible things. I took my stuff, luckily it wasn't much to pack because all the furniture was Mike's, and drove to my sister's, where I'm currently living with her and her girlfriend. I hope I can find a permanent living arrangement soon. Once again, thank you so much for all the support. I wouldn't have had the courage to end things without all the kind words and promises that things will get better, and that I deserve more than this. I was scared to leave because for some reason, people seem to think that women lose their value after turning 30. Looking back, Mike made this message clear to me as well during our relationship. I felt like I was undesirable because of my age and that I was lucky to even have a guy who could stand me. But reading your comments made me realize, I'm still young and there's plenty of time to find someone who will treat me right. Again, I am so incredibly grateful. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, Purple Heart.